Hi everyone, this is Stephen Pu, founder of the Terrestrial Project, and this is our Blockchain 101 series. And today we will talk about another interesting topic. What is decentralization? Okay, so in the blockchain space, everyone keeps talking about the importance and the virtues of being decentralized. Well, what exactly does that mean, right? So first, let's use an example, right? Maybe I think the best example we can think about using is a bank, right? So let's think about decentralization in terms of what a bank is. Well, what is centralized? What does a centralized bank do, right? So a centralized bank has centralized record keeping, right? So centralized record keeping is very important, right? So if I, for example, if I have a dollar and I'm giving Alice $1 and only Alice and I know about it, for example, then after I gave her a dollar, she can just say, I never got a dollar from you, Stephen. You never gave me a dollar. And there's no way I could prove it, right? I can't prove that I gave her a dollar, right? So what will happen is I will pull Bob in and I say, hey Bob, hey, I gave Alice a dollar. You saw that, right? Bob will say, yeah, I saw this. I can be a witness and I can tell you that Stephen definitely gave Alice a dollar, right? So Bob in here is the bookkeeper, right? He is the centralized bookkeeping, and he is acting as a witness, and that's really one of the critical functions of what a bank does, right? They keep a record that everyone can trust, right? Everyone trusts the bank, that the bank knows and witnesses all these transactions and is keeping a good record of what exactly happened. So record keeping, right? Centralized record keeping. Validation, right? So another thing that a centralized entity would do is that they will validate things, right? They will tell you, well, is this valid or not valid, right? So for example, if I have no money and I try to give Alice a dollar, then someone needs to come out and say, hey, you Steven, you have no money. You can't not give Alice a dollar because you have no money to give, right? If there's nobody to validate these types of transactions, then we will be, in a lot of trouble, right? So validation. The third one is membership, right? So not everyone can get an account in a bank, for example, right? So if you're in a lot of countries, if you're a convicted felon, you can't get it at a bank. If you're a little kid, like 5 years old, you probably don't, can't get a bank account. There are lots of reasons why you can't just randomly become a member of a specific bank or any organization for that matter. So there's centralized membership management, right? So, okay, so if we understand what centralized means, so let's think about what decentralized means, right? So decentralized record keeping means there's no single entity that has a copy of everything. Everyone has a copy of everything, right? So there are lots of people. Everyone in this network has a copy of everything. So you don't have to go to a single person or a single entity and say, tell me what has happened before. Everyone knows what has happened before, right? So this is decentralized record keeping. Everyone has a copy. Decentralized validation. There's a set of predefined rules within the network that everyone agrees upon, right? So it's a way to agree on a version of reality, basically. So based upon these rules, the network can independently, every single node can independently tell what is valid and what is not valid, right? So once again, there's a predefined set of rules on the network that allows decentralized validation because every node and every participant is able to tell what is true and what is not true. And third, decentralized membership. There's no one controlling who can come in and who cannot come in. Anyone can join the network, right? This is a hallmark of public, decentralized, truly decentralized public blockchain, is that there is no membership gate. No one's gating the membership. Anyone can join. Anyone can become a part of the network, right? So these three things is what really decentralization means. Okay, so let's talk about how do we deploy decentralized systems. So first of all, why do we need decentralized systems, right? What's so great about decentralized record keeping, validation, and membership? What's so great about that? Well, let's think about what's so not great about centralized systems, right? So if you have a purely centralized systems, they have lots of advantages, right? They're pretty fast. You just ask one person, they tell you exactly what the answer is. They're probably legally very accountable. The government has registry of them. They're probably a lot more scalable, right? Centralized systems are a lot more scalable, but they have this very, very critical flaw: is that they're a black box and they can cheat, right? They can cheat, and you would never know about it, right? So imagine, and I'm not saying that banks necessarily do this, but imagine if the bank were one day just to say, hey, I decided that Stephen has no money, like his account is zero. There's almost, there's nothing preventing them from doing that. There are laws and other things that are preventing them doing that. But a centralized system can technically do that if they wanted to, right? They can do something much more subtle, right? And because it's a black box, not many people know what actually happens in centralized systems. They can do what they want essentially, right? So that's really what the problem with centralized systems are. They're not transparent. They're a black box. They can cheat you if they wanted to, right? That's the problem with centralized system. Okay, well, great. So what about a decentralized system, right? Well, a decentralized system, it's very hard for them to cheat you, right? So first of all, everyone has a copy. Everyone can tell what's true, and anyone can join, right? So that makes it really hard for someone to cheat, and everything is really out in the open. Everyone sees everything else, right? So everyone sees every record that's on the blockchain, on a decentralized system. So it's basically impossible for someone to cheat, right, on a decentralized system. Well, that's great. Well, let's just move our entire world onto decentralized networks. Well, no, decentralized networks are slow, right? Because why is it slow? Well, everyone has to do everything, right? Everyone is constantly doing every single thing over and over and over again, right? So that just cannot be fast, right? I mean, you have to sacrifice something in order to gain something. So performance is one of these critical things that you're actually losing. User experience goes with that as well. You really lose a lot of performance. You actually lose a lot of user experience as well because now every single node has to be completely responsible for all of these things, right? If I use a bank, I don't have to think about anything, and everything's very easy for me. If there are any problems, I call up the bank, they solve all my problems for me. But if you're a member of a decentralized system, if something goes wrong, no one's going to solve that problem for you. You're responsible for everything on your own, right? So the user experience is not great and the performance is not great, right? So that's really what's not really great about decentralized systems. So what is the right way to really use decentralized networks or decentralized systems? Well, I think what the right way to do it is to somehow combine these two together, right? So you get the scalability, the great user experience of centralized systems, but you use decentralized systems to prevent them from cheating, right? That's really the goal. So if you can actually combine the two in a way that maximally leverages the performance, the user experience of centralized systems, but at the same time make sure that what the things they're doing or the very critical components of what they're doing are transparent and they're not allowed to cheat. And that, I think, is really the right way to actually deploy or make use of decentralized systems in modern applications. Thank you very much.